Hello everyone, my name is Kareem, and I just finished 2 years of electrical engineering at McGill University, and today I wanted to give you all what I learned over these past 2 years. When I first started electrical engineering, this was not something I could find easily, so I'm hoping this could serve as a resource for people just getting started and to see what they can hope to achieve and what they can learn. I consider myself a very average engineering student. Consider myself as just one of those other engineering students, puts in the work, gets in the effort, and gets what they want. So I think this video will apply to a lot of people because whether you like it or not, someone's going to be the average, and most likely everyone is average. So let's talk about what exactly went on. So I'm going to go through my first semester, second, third, and fourth. So my first semester, I think everyone experiences this in their first semester, is the massive amounts of imposter syndrome you will live through. So since I'm a Quebec student, I had to go through CEGEP where I met a lot of very bright people. And then when I went into McGill University, those bright people were there and increasing in number. So I felt like I didn't belong in here at all. And so when my first exam came back, I got a 40%. And I was very shocked by that. I truly thought that I was better than that, and that maybe I have scammed my way into McGill University. And so I was honestly ready to drop out at that point in time. Regardless, I persevered, and I decided that I'm going to keep going and see where that brings me. And one of the first things I cut out was the easy dopamine. I had trouble always, and still to this day, I had trouble with Reels, TikToks, Facebook, Snapchat, every sort of social media, because all of them are designed to attract your attention and keep it there. But I decided I didn't want to be one of those people who's always on their phone. And so I developed strategies to not be on my phone. And essentially, these strategies were very premature at the time, of course. This is not something I thought of actively, not as much as today at least. But the seeds were there. And so what I realized was that when it came time for exams, I had to delete these apps that were dangerous to my academics. So I did. And over time, the results paid off. And I ended my first semester with getting an above average engineering GPA. I'm not sure if it's above average for my school, but I know it's above average for global engineering students as a whole. So I was very happy with that. Then I moved on to my second semester. And this is where I learned a lot about burnout and how it actually is. Obviously, I went through that experience in CEGEP, but in university, it's much worse. The effects can really, really slow you down. Regardless, I ended well. So this is not to make you feel afraid of anything, but it is something that I had to go through, and it's the lessons that I learned here. And it was due to lessons that I did not learn when I went through CEGEP. So here's one of the first things that it kind of taught me, which is that grades aren't everything. It doesn't matter, actually, what grades you get. What matters is how much effort you're putting into your studying and into your understanding. And when you do that, you realize that, well, schooling just is all about grades, but you're more than that. So while you could be an average engineering student, what sets you out from the rest is the fact that you're actually trying to engage with the material and apply it elsewhere. This is what I tried to do. And when I started doing that, it had very good effects. But I did that way later at the end of the semester. And as a matter of fact, I was so burnt out, I stopped going to classes. I went on a trip to New York with some friends. And all in all, I just stopped going. Like, school was not the most important thing that I was doing at that time. And honestly, it helped show me that life is more than just school. You know, you get caught up in university life, but university is just one aspect of you. And everything you do else aside from that is what makes you who you are. And also, this was something that I did while I took less credits. I took 12 credits so rather than 15, the average. That's what most people take. And this was me getting burnt out at 12 credits. So I realized if I'm getting burnt out at 12 credits, maybe other people are either superhumans, super machines, or I'm just less than them when it comes to handling these workloads, which is fine. And I realized that for me, I need to take these less credits and I need to make sure I do well in them. So I took all of these lessons, pushed on. And then in my third semester, this is really where a lot of these lessons got put into place. Over the summer, I went actually on a trip into Egypt, France. And I got really tired. I went on a lot of trips. So I traveled essentially all of France. I was in Egypt with some family. And I put in a lot of effort into that trip, into enjoying it, getting the most out of it, spending as much energy as possible into it, essentially trying to be not as static as possible. And it paid off. When the semester started in the third semester, I was very, very ready to go on and do well. And that's essentially what ended up happening. And what I realized as well, and in this semester, I realized that I wanted to do more, and I wanted to work on a particular skill that I didn't have yet, which was leadership. I lacked leadership, and as a matter of fact, I did not know what leadership was prior to last semester. And so when that semester started, then I said, okay, I'm gonna get leadership, and I want to do it. I went everywhere. I went to a lot of extracurriculars. I tried to do some cultural club stuff. I tried to do some engineering design club stuff, and see just exactly where that will lead me. And what I realized is that the people that you meet within those extracurriculars can either push you to be the best version of yourself, or just people who won't push you to be the best version of yourself. And I realized that actually these extracurriculars are very good or negative experiences. They're very important into shaping up who you are, because you get to meet a lot of different types of people. And those people are people who you will meet as well in your professional career. And so I realized that at the end of that semester, after I had put in the effort, after I was surrounded by people who would push me to be my best, and people who might not been pushing me to be my best, I realized that in the end, every experience matters, and everyone's experiences around you matters, and who you put around yourself are going to have an effect on you. And in the end, this is when I realized that university isn't just about the grades. This is where it truly kicked in. It's not about the grades, but it's about people. And as engineering students, we're very prone to thinking that it's all about the technical skills. I'm going to build the best app. I'm going to build the best circuit. I'm going to build the best chemical plant. It's not what it's about. It's about the people you work with. And this is something that was made very evident when I started my internship this semester, which I just ended last week. So when I started my internship last semester, well, technically this semester, I realized that school doesn't really teach you a lot about the technical stuff anyways. But as a matter of fact, what school teaches you is the intangibles: how to be a good student, how to take good notes, how to approach any problem with the desire to learn. And as engineering students, we're very much equipped to deal with these problems. However, we don't make an effort when it comes to dealing with social problems, when it comes to dealing with political problems. We don't extend beyond our area of technical expertise. And that's going to have its own effects on the world. Matter of fact, bad engineering isn't usually due to bad technical skills, but it's actually due to bad consideration of the social and political climate that people are in. And what I realized as well from my internship is that, as much as I'm good enough at what I do, as much as I'm good enough at learning, as much as I'm good enough at tackling any obstacle that requires learning in front of me, I realized that I don't want to work for other people. That's just something that a conclusion I came through, and I realized that's not what I want to do in the future. However, bad circumstances as a whole will lead us to work for other people. That's completely fine, but we'll be more than adaptable in dealing with them as engineering students. And so now going into the summer, my second summer of engineering school, this is where really the doors open for you. And this is where you realize that the world is pretty much everything you want it to be. Before, there was always this fence of academia and this fence of structure and this fence of institutions around me. But the older you get, the less these fences around you are there. The more you're able to see over that fence and see over these institutions and realize that life is more than just what these people have drawn up for you. As a matter of fact, governments, when they do this stuff for you, they just want you to get educated in sense of technicalities, in the sense of factory working, in the sense of producing economic output. But you're more than that. You are also a human with a lot of stuff that you want to accomplish, and you will accomplish them. But it's very important that you're able to recognize the fact that schooling is just temporary. Education is something that's super important, but there is a lot more to life than just education. And these are the lessons I came through. And so where does this lead me to? So for me, the path I decided to take forward, well, is to start working on my own project, maybe start to try to commercialize them. But also this is where I start to connect a lot of the dots that I've had through my childhood. And one of those dots that I connected through my childhood was the fact that I like to talk to people, I like to teach, and I like to connect with people. And that's one thing that you will notice in your engineering school, is that all of the stuff that you did when you were a child, there's stuff that matters, and there's stuff that you will realize the stuff that you wanted to do. So that's it for me. That's all of the stuff I wanted to get across. And maybe I'll update you guys at the end of my degree. So that's another 2 years from now. Thank you guys.